to end around 9 o'clock p.m. Oh, sorry, 9 o'clock p.m. Huh? That's a heck of a of a lie. 9 o'clock a.m. Eastern New York time today. And when we do end, we're going to go right into at 9:15 a.m. to 9:45 a.m. We're going to go into our Shabbat Shalom um, episode or reoccurring episode on the Kofi 40 podcast. So if you'd like to join us for that, feel free to. We're thankful and grateful for today. And today, really, we want to ask a question. Before we do, though, may the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be acceptable in Yahweh's sight. He is our strength and our Redeemer. It's in His name, which is His authority, that we pray, praise, proclaim, project, and protect this message. Amen. Amen. And amen again. So, want to go to a place on this rising where we're going to ask a question. And the question is, what is your reaction to adversity? Right? And we give all praises to the Most High, Elohim. We give all praises to, 103 in the UK. Okay, thanks for joining us. We give all praises to the Most High. We give all praises to the Most High for my wife, the Honorable Maya, who lives a life that's able to be honored. We got a cat trying to visit us right now, this rising. We're going to be on the Kofi of 40 podcast. It's the Kofi of 40 podcast. If you want to join us live when we go on 9:15 a.m. Eastern in New York time, which for the person in the UK would be 14:15, I believe. But if you're going to join us at 9:15 a.m. New York or Eastern time, then feel free to join us. You have to have the Podbean app if you want to join us live. That's Podbean, the Podbean app. And what we're going to talk about today, once again, well, if you'd like to know some of the philosophy, is first of all, I don't live by my own philosophy, and really technically nobody does. But the standard I live by is one that we would call Hadash Shemayim, or followers of the way, the kingdom of heaven, etc. And if you'd like to learn what our specific thing is, rather than comprehending, this person's a Christian, which I'm not, or this person is into this, or this person's Black Hebrew Israelite, or this person hates white people, or this, whatever. If you just follow along, you'll probably catch it pretty quickly. And thank you for being on. So when we speak on these things, we have to comprehend, we have to recognize, and we have to respect the fact that we're really dealing with something. When I say, how do you react to adversity? I'm asking you, how do you react to something that's going to happen as often as you breathe, unfortunately. There are things that are trying to be against you at all times. Whether you like that or not, there are people, there are places that are set up to be against you. It's not my cat, but thank you very much for making sure that you asked me to feed something that's not mine. It comes by and likes to be around. And anyways, I hope that those things don't tune you out from being able to hear a message of. If so, I apologize for that. Really, I don't. I can't do anything about it. Once again, though, we're thankful and grateful for having you all on. And I want to talk about, how do you react to adversity? The reaction to adversity, right? When you're speaking on adversity, right? When you're speaking on adversity, you have to be in a position to basically you have to start thinking about, first of all, how do you react? And a lot of people's reaction to adversity is the following. Somebody says something bad about me, I'm going to say something bad about them. Right? Thank you for the compliment. Right? Somebody says something bad about me, I'm going to say something bad about them. Somebody says something about my mama, I'm going to say something about their mama. Somebody is against my political party, I'm going to be against their political party. How do you react to adversity? People come on here all the time. Oh, you need to do this, show us this, give me this, make me do this, blah, blah. Why don't you tell me what you believe, this and that, well, your belief or system is wrong. I could react by just saying, I'm going to block everybody. And look, we have people that are on here and allowed to be able to block or do whatever, because on the last platform we had, the first Kofi_40 page, people decided to mess that up by lying on us, right? So we do have some of that we need to do to protect ourselves, but we try to create an environment where we can have dialogue and discussion, right? And it is the adversity that actually allows us to go, right? You said you out there working for your wage, boy. I'm in my work, so I don't have to job out for anything. What do you have to job out? Do you have to go and do things as far as property and things of that nature? Probably. Like, how much property do you have? How much food do you grow? how healthy are you able to make sure and wealthy that your life is and to be stable and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, when people like that come on once again, how do you react to adversity? And a lot of people can't react to their own adversity in their own lives, so they try to mess with your life, as you can see here, right? So my goal is not necessarily to make everybody have to feel comfortable. That's not my thing, right? And if you get past trying to make sure that you try to make people feel comfortable, right? Right, that's why I say I don't block everybody, right? My hands aren't even on the thing. So I have people I trust to be able to make sure that this is a great community, right? Or a great community, a great vibe, and a great situation for us, a great environment to have stuff, right? Adversity builds character. Amen, Minister Nice. And so when we're talking about being at peace, when we're talking about being at another level, when we're talking about growth, when we're talking about trying to do things differently, when we're talking about being in a different situation, you got to start asking yourself the question, like, what are you able to do, right, with adversity? You know, adverse situations happen all the time. People being against you is going to happen all the time. People being frustrated and putting their frustration on you is going to happen all the time. You know, a boss that isn't necessarily perfect is going to happen at every job. No matter if you like the boss or dislike the boss, you will have times that you don't have great, you know, moments with them. The question is, what does adversity do? And one of the things I would ask even is, does adversity fuel you? Have you gotten yourself into an emotional state, a state of thought, a state of peace, even, that allows you, when something adverse happens to you, can you be at peace with it? And can you not only be at peace with it, can you turn it into a driving factor, right? Or if it is something that makes you angry, is it something you can utilize to say, I'm not going to be angry and go to sleep angry, I'm going to be angry and sin not? See, a lot of people quote verses and stuff, but they don't talk about context. So let's talk about context. If you can be angry and sin not. The word sin, by the way, just simply means to miss the mark. It doesn't mean that you are somebody who's going to hell. It means that you were aiming for a target. This is what sin literally is you're aiming for a target, right? And as you get ready to release, you release, and when you released, you missed the bullseye. It doesn't mean you weren't trying to do well. It doesn't mean that you're not doing great. It doesn't mean that you're not doesn't mean you're a bad person. It simply means I was aiming for something, right? And I missed the mark. You said you do dictate and curate your life. Okay, that's fine, right? That's fine. That's not what I'm. You know, I have no problem with that. We should all take accountability for what we do. But if I miss, right, by being angry and and sin not. See, don't go to sleep on your anger, on your wrath. So in other words, before I go to sleep, have I channeled whatever made me angry to a point to where I was able to utilize it to get something done in my life, rather than go to sleep, be angry, have stress on me the whole time, mess up my body, all these different things, and then come back, right, in the morning or in the rising, and still be in a position to where what? I'm still angry, I'm still upset, I still haven't dealt with it. Now I'm not functioning well when it comes to my rising activities and all these different things, right? So you know, right, that's what I said, to miss the mark. That's what I was saying, to miss the mark, aiming for a target, and you miss the bullseye, right? That would be missing the mark, right? So this is what we're talking about. Like, so when these things happen, how do you deal with adversity? When you miss the mark, how do you deal with it? Do you say, okay, that's a chance for me to recalibrate? I know what I did. Maybe I was off to the left. Maybe my breathing was off when I was doing stuff. Maybe I went like this rather than go like this and open up. Whatever the case is, I need to be in a position to make sure that I use my adversity to be better, right? One of the things that they do, for those of us who've been to boot camp, right? One of the things that they're going to teach you and show you in boot camp is that you're going to have to go through some adversity, right? Thank you very much. If that's your standard and you feel like people need to make sure that they have haircuts to fit in because you have to, you know, fit in order for people to like or pay or whatever, then so be it. I'm not in that position where I have to go by that. I just live by our culture. And thank you, though, if that's your, and welcome if that's your way of saying hello. So if you're dealing with this stuff, right, are you going to be in a position, right, to where you comprehend, like, you got to be willing to deal with adversity? What is it in you? What's in you? What are you developing in you? Hear what you're saying, right? You can write your question. I'll try to answer the questions as much as I can. Obviously, there's a lot of people on, right? But what are you developing that's going to allow you to face adversity. I was talking about this the other day. I don't remember if it was in the evening or the rising, but we were talking about how we're like when I play sports, I like it when somebody talks a little trash. It causes me to refocus. The adversity shows up. And now I'm being challenged, right? And men like challenges a whole lot, you know. Not challenges as far as you're a terrible person, this and that, or whatever. Challenges as far as, you know what, you're great, you got greatness, and you be better, right? We love that. Drive, right? We love that. Like, it's me, and I got this ball, and I got two people in front of me. I got to score a basket. How do I do, right? And so how do you deal with adversity? Does adversity pump you up? Now that comes from that. Now some people say, "Well, I don't have that," or "That's not something I think." Right? You know, yeah, using it as motivation, right? But adversity is something that is. You say adversity is something beautiful. I'm intrigued by things that completely enlighten minds. Well, that, and also too something that pushes you, right? You cannot become somebody who becomes a great weightlifter if you are somebody who does not like adversity, because it is the adversity, right? It is the weights that are pressing against you in the bench press, that when you press against the adversity, when you push against the adversity, or when you push through the adversity, that is what makes you stronger. So the next time you can lift more and push through more, and come back again the next time and push through more, and come back the next time and push through more, right? These are the things that adversity does, right? These are the things that adversity does. These are the things that adversity is going to, it's going to cause you to be able to lift more the next time, right? It's going to cause you to lift more the next time. It's going to cause you to push through more this next time coming up. A lot of people get adversity and they go away, right? A lot of people get to adversity and they go away, right? A lot of people get through adversity and they go away. Well, don't just go vegan if you're talking to the person about cholesterol, because, you know, Oreo cookies are vegan. So don't go vegan. Make sure that you live healthy. Make sure that you know what you're eating, okay? But getting back to adversity, a lot of people are not worried, or let's say this, a lot of people are not developed and go and saying, I'm going to look for things that cause me to push harder. A lot of us are more concerned with doing things that are easy, right? A lot of people are concerned with doing things that don't take that much out of us, right? A lot of us are going to say stuff like, I want to take the path of least resistance. Is that not correct? Right? And I was in the United States Navy, right? In the United States Navy, they say you work smarter, not harder. And that's great as far as, I guess, you're trying not to make things more, difficult than what they need to be. At the same time, though, right? At the same time, though, you have to be in a position of what? At the same time, you have to be in a position where you're not just talking about it being easy all the time. Sometimes the path of least resistance, right, is not the best, because it causes you to not develop certain muscles, right? The path of least resistance is sometimes not the easiest, because it causes you, or is not the best for you, because it causes you not to develop certain muscles. This is something that happens quite often, and generationally. You'll have somebody who is poor, right? Check this out. The poor person will become, so you'll have somebody that is poor. What happens to the poor person is, over time, the poor person goes to a place of having to, of working real hard and gaining a lot of money, even becoming wealthy, right? They become wealthy. Their children stay wealthy, but somewhat lose a little bit of drive, and the company doesn't do so well. Next thing you know, the generation after that, the company kind of goes into somebody else's hand. A good generation after that, the family's not necessarily doing as well. A generation after that, the family is like middle class again. And people try to figure out, how does something like that happen? It's because that the first generation, the first person who gained the wealth, right, they basically got to a place of where they were great with adversity. They conquered a lot of things, so to speak, and they were able to get to a place of wealth. The next generation, they weren't pushed by the parents, right? Because the parents said, I'm working hard, so you don't have to work hard. So they didn't teach their children work ethic, right? So then the next generation after that was like, well, shoot, you don't have to work hard because I don't have to work hard. So they had less, and it gets to be less and less, right? And so lack of adversity actually caused generational unraveling. Now, is it Eve Lana? I'm not sure. Evelana says, what about chronic pressure from adversity? Well, chronic pressure, once again, is when somebody can't deal with pressure, right? Because chronic pressure is not a bad thing unless somebody's saying it's a bad thing. So what are we doing to make sure that we build up those things? For example, somebody says there's a pressure to be over all these people. So I would talk about culture and system. We talk about culture quite a bit, and my culture is usually going to be quite different than many people's culture. The standard I live by is usually going to be different than a lot of people's standards. So I would say, like, as far as culturally, where what we believe in, what we do, what we think of as a culture, as a body of people, we don't lead people, we lead environments. Hello, Malta, if that's your way of saying hello, hello to you as well. So we don't lead people, we lead environments, right? So I don't worry about leading people. I don't have the pressure of leading people. Like Malta can come on and call us a clown and all this other stuff. I don't care, right? Because I'm not here to worry about leading him or anything like that. I lead an environment. And if he doesn't want to be in the environment, he can go somewhere. It's pretty easy, right? So I don't have to worry about it, right? I lead an environment. Hey, Shabbat Shalom, Master. So that's something that takes pressure off, right, in your community. In my culture, I'm a king. I'm also under a king. I only have authority because I'm under authority. So I rule an environment because the environment that I've decided to be in is also ruled as well. So when somebody comes at me and says, "Oh, you're terrible. Oh, you don't like white people. Oh, this and that. Blah blah. Oh, you hate Christianity. Oh, you're a, what have I been called? I've been called a, what was somebody calling me yesterday? A blasphemer? No, not a blasphemer. I've been called that one before. Somebody basically said I'm a wolf in sheep's clothing or something like that. Yesterday in the evening, and I'm able to go, okay, well, all I did was give you what my king says, and if you don't like what my king says, okay, right? Because I'm not over people, I'm over an environment. I am somebody who has authority because I'm under authority, and I always give honor to the authority that I'm under, right? Um, I'm not worried about. You said, I'm sorry. I'm a firm believer that open-minded leading environments. That's population control. How's that population control? If I'm a sovereign and I believe in leading environments and not leading people, then I don't understand that, because that would mean that I would never bother or try to hurt or harm anybody else. The only time I would deal with anybody else as a person is if they wanted to be in an environment and lead in the same environment. Let's work together. And then I would never try to infringe upon their right, especially anything pertaining to their life, unless they try to do something that I had to defend myself or defend my family. Right? I like that. Not a sheep of the Lion of Judah. I saw that comment. So when you're talking about that, there's something wrong. You said we make the rules despite common sense that something is right or wrong. Well, not all. Well, sense is not something that's common. Everybody has their own sense of things because they try to do everything in themselves. You said that's nonsense talk. Okay. Well, I'm in. As far as you have the right to believe whatever you want to believe, it seems like you are the person that is infringing upon our rights. It seems like you're the person coming on and saying you don't believe right, and what you're doing is wrong, and you should believe like I'm saying, and you should be leader over people, and blah, blah, blah. Like, it seems like that's the conversation you're having. I'm not having that conversation. But once again, how do you deal with adversity, right? This person seems to be somebody, hey, I don't like adversity, this, that, or whatever. Might be the type of person that I even get a DM from later on, is going to be telling me how I'm evil and how I'm wrong and this and that or whatever. Like, I don't have a problem with adversity. I love adversity. Adversity helps me to thrive. Matter of fact, when people come against something so strongly, it helps me to check. Am I righteous in my thinking, first of all? And no, I'm not a Christian. Am I righteous in my thinking? And then also, am I somebody who is, am I somebody who needs to retailor their thinking? Right? I need to check my vibe. I need to check the frequency. I need to check the law. I need to check my spirit. I need to check what Yahweh says. I need to check am I getting too big for my britches, so to speak. These are things that I'm able to do all the time. Yeah, he's trying to take over somebody else's environment, creating adversity, right? While in the same time saying that you shouldn't, that what we're saying is crazy. He's doing exactly what I'm actually talking about. Oh, thank you very much, Corbin. Appreciate that. Well, if that's what you use, you probably create an environment that not many people want to be around. And if you have that much to use on that level, you would need to use it for, then I would go ahead and suggest that you get yourself checked out. You said you deal with adversity by being open-minded to learning and using love as my currency. Well, once again, that's environment. And you're talking about adversity. To go against adversity, love means action. So love is an action that you could use that causes an environment to grow. You know, hey, Shabbat Shalom, Sister Beverly, how you doing? You said there's a lot of blockage within that person. It's causing misunderstanding and seems to have a wall. Yeah, and a lot of times, people who don't know how to deal with adversity, that becomes a wall. Because if you can't break through the adversity, you can't break through the wall. And the more adversity, the thicker the wall gets. You know, you said everyone's message from source/creator is different. Well, I wouldn't say everyone else, because there's a lot of people that agree on the same type things, whether it's the the kingdom of heaven, the followers of the way, Christianity, Buddhism, you know, Lotus Sutra, Heart Sutra, right? Confucianism. Is Confucius a person? Is he a god? Is Buddha a person? Is he a god? Are these Netchers people, or are they gods? Are they, you know, at the end of the day. But if everybody's got their own, you know, their own message from the source or whatever, I mean, that's true. We're all individuals. When it gets to a point, though, should we make sure that there's some kind of unity in that message besides just do whatever you want, which is chaos, right? You know, people like chaos theory when it comes to movies and agreeing with Ian Malcolm about dinosaurs, but nobody wants to discuss chaos theory when it comes to mankind. Well, adversity is just something that's, you know, adverse. It's an adverse situation. Matter of fact, if you were to take the word ad, right, and then what verse? Really, I would focus on that part. Verse. Verse is like, you know, what are people saying about you, right? What is the verse? What is written about you? Somebody's writing something against you, right? Adversity. And are you able to study what they're saying about you, but realize and recognize what really has been written about you since before the beginning of time? You know, I would say, like, when you're dealing with adversity, are you able to basically realize that people are trying to write a narrative concerning you because they need an ideal with an L, IDEAL. They need an ideal about you, right? And so the question becomes, is the ideal that they're trying to create about me, is that correct or not? Right? So adverse, they're writing a verse against me. Just like if somebody goes ad hominem, they're trying to speak against my hominem, my person, my character. They're against it, right? And a lot of people come on without even knowing me, which is it's like a Dunning-Kruger effect type thing showing in their apologetics. You see? What do I mean by saying I'm a king? I'm a sovereign. I'm a king. I rule my environment. I rule it well. I'm a king. I've been given authority to be able to be a king. I have unalienable rights that cannot be taken away. I've decided to live even if you want to go by constitutional law rather than natural law, universal law, kingdom law, marital law, admiralty law, etc. If we use constitutional law, I have unalienable rights. I cannot be separated by my rights to do what it is that I've been called to do. And therefore, I use those unalienable rights all the time. And I have things to be able to provide for me as the king, right, over my domain. And there are public servants out there. You might call them a president. You might call them a senator. You might call them a judge. You might call them a police officer. But there are public servants out there. They are the servants. They serve me, and they serve my interest. Because I am a natural person and not an artificial person. I'm not a straw man. I'm an actual human being. I'm a king. It says someone's messing with my page, but you can still hear me. Okay, sorry about that. It said religion causes more chaos than not. Once again, that's adversity. And I would say, first of all, when you say religion, first of all, the word religion literally means just a legion of people that repetitively do the same thing. So if you're a legion of people that repetitively run, you're a religious runner. You're a religious person that brushes your teeth. You're a religious coffee drinker, right? But you're talking more so in the vein that people have changed the word into to fit the narrative, right? That okay, you believe in God, which I don't worship God. God is a deity. I worship Elohim, and He's Yahweh. That's who I worship. You should probably study Him rather than somebody else's culture and tell me about their religion, because their religion is based off Christianity, which is based off of Roman Catholicism, which is based off of Rome, which is based off of Greece, which is based off of perversion of what Yashtiel and of what Kemet taught. Nevertheless, though, I would say to you that if you say that religion is there, which religion are you talking about? Because your religion, whether you are atheist or whether you're agnostic, whether you are Buddhist, whether you are Methodist, whether you're Episcopalian, whether you are of the Third Reich, right? Whether you believe in Hitler, whatever your religion is, at the end of the day, I would say, how does it affect the community? And if my religion tells me, no, idealism is a system, right? So you're saying idealism is something, you're creating an ideal. You don't know what I'm about, correct? You don't know what I believe. You just hear a couple things that are similar, right? And so what you've done is you said, okay, because I know some things that are similar to what he's speaking, he must be this, and he must believe in this. I would tell you something as far as Christianity. Christianity is dangerous. Christianity is something that leads to crusades. Christianity is something that leads towards Christmas celebrations that maybe you're part of, and you call them Xmas, and you just say, well, X out Christ, but you're still part of the same stuff that causes a lot of wild stuff to happen. Maybe you're somebody who says good day, but when you say good day or good morning or good evening, you're actually talking about God, a deity. Maybe you're somebody who believes in psychology, but the problem is, if you believe in psychology, you're causing more adversity for yourself, because psychology actually means the study of the soul. Maybe you're somebody who believes in pneumatical thought. You see what I'm saying? So a lot of people coming from a different culture. In my culture, we break through adversity because we use. No, I mean, if you're talking about modern Christianity, I'm talking about Christianity in general, because Yahshua HaMashiach, who people would call the Christ, he himself was not a Christian, nor did he identify as one. His followers were not Christians, nor did they identify them, and their followers were not Christians, nor did they identify as them. So I'm talking about from the beginning. You know, if you want to go from the first pope, or at least the first person we kind of put that title on nowadays, people try to say Peter, which Peter wasn't a pope. But if you go actually who really was the first pope, the person that Justinian and Theodora put in position in Rome, when Rome was causing adversity to the whole entire planet, and calling it, calling it what we would say colonization, right? You would understand, you would comprehend that in Rome, he was not in Rome, the first pope was somebody that got Justinian to start killing off tribes that wouldn't pay homage to him, right? That's Christianity from this beginning. And learning about that adversity and being honest about it is still something that we should go ahead. You said you're an existentialist, as much as you speak about a book, I just ignore the book altogether. I mean, that's fine, but you listen to other people's books so that you can be an existentialist who write, and they're men just like the people that you say the Bible are, and you decide to listen to their books and ignore other ones. So you create your own ideal. An ideal is just building up a narrative that allows you to be able to function and say that you're right. I'm not concerned about being right. I'm concerned about being righteous. And righteousness, which is a term that literally just means to be in right legal standing, is something that I choose to be because I believe in law. You believe in being able to alter law to be able to alter the state of wherever you want to be. And that's fine. You have the right to be able to do so. So you have the right to believe whatever you want to believe. I'm not here to get you to confirm my belief. If I needed you to confirm my belief, then my belief is not warranted in the first place. Right? Like, I'm no greater than you, you're no greater than me. So if you need me to confirm your belief, that's not something at all. Well, okay. You say you're not concerned with being right, but then your whole thing is to tell me why I'm wrong. So it is what it is. But either way, I appreciate you. And if that's your way of saying hello, by the way, hello and welcome. You said they really didn't have access to the whole planet. Rillafoon has a different religion. You talking about Rillafoon? I'm not sure. Rillafoon, because Rillafoon is something else. He was a Gnostic. Yeah, people use that term. People use that term Gnostic. Gnostic is something that you must understand. Gnostic is not something that what people actually know. Like, Gnostic was not even a religion. Gnostic is something that now people are trying to put stuff into. They didn't know what Gnosticism was back then. But that's the adversity, right? We've learned something that's off, and we keep trying to use that to pump weight, but we're causing more adversity. If you go look up, there was no such thing as a Gnostic society back then, or a Gnostic set of beliefs. Matter of fact, with people who like to go around the Council of Nicaea, which a lot of people misrepresent as well, there was no such thing there as like, oh, we're all coming with a Gnostic belief, and we're arguing the Gnostic side versus the regular side. That's something that people are into right now. But that's once again, we have to know these things so that we can push past the adversity, or people who are taking a verse, what's spoken about something, and be able to realize what's real. That's why there's the story, that's why there's our story, and that's why there's something else called his story. His story has an adverse effect. The story has a real, has a real show enough, not only effect, but dialogue and reality. Yeah, some can't, right? And if you learned, and I get that, if you've learned to lie first, it's hard. You said, no, I didn't call you wrong. I said idealism is dangerous. Okay, well, thank you. I'm not here to argue. Okay, you're right. You didn't call me that. Let's see. Sometimes I think we all serve the same God, but once again, God's a deity. So if you serve God, then you serve that deity. If you serve a Netzer, there are many Netzers, even though technically there's only supposed to be one Netzer, then that's a deity. If you serve Baal, which Baal has been twisted, the Baal used to mean pretty much the same thing that Elohim meant, but if you worship Baal now, or if you worship the ancient Baal, which is Elohim, right? Either way, you're worshiping a deity. If you worship Shangdi, you worship a deity. If you worship the Buddha, even though the Buddha said not to worship him, but if you worship the Buddha, you worship a deity. Oh, thanks, babe. Appreciate it. And my wife, once again, is on the Honorable Maya, who lives a life to be able to, that is able to be honored. That's why I call her that. She is known as Bloom and Flourish, not A-N-D, but the letter N, Bloom and Flourish. If you'd like to follow her on TikTok, YouTube, and her website, she does a lot as far as healing, herbalism, chemistry, biology, etc. And we're excited to have her on. Thanks, babe. You said, so if you can't, I'm sorry, LOL, if I can't question him, then his argument is weak. Nobody said you couldn't question me in the first place. And nobody said you can't question the Most High. Matter of fact, that's rhetoric that you get from people who don't understand it, or people who just are trying to find a way to give adversity. Because all you got to do is read the book. And the book says, test the spirit by the spirit. Ask me a question and see if what I'm saying is real. Live it by the law that I say. Don't just do whatever you want and then say, oh, I did a little piece of it, so it doesn't work. Like, follow it to the T, and if it doesn't work, then you have every right to tell it that I'm not who I say I am. Like, that's, but that's somebody that people that don't like adversity aren't into. Like, adversity, people are like, man, I might have to do a whole bunch of stuff, and to figure this out, I might have to actually be obedient to the whole thing. And since I can't be obedient to the whole thing, I'll just call it a narrative when somebody's obedient to the whole thing. Or, since I can't be obedient to the whole thing, I will create my own narrative so that I can say anybody obedient to the whole thing is actually a fool. You see what I'm saying? And I don't know if that came off. I wasn't necessarily trying to go against you. I see that, okay. I was just answering. I was just saying a lot of people are in that vein, right? You believe you're one of nature just like an animal? Nobody said, well, I'm not an animal, but I don't disbelieve that I'm part of nature. What does that even mean? To not believe that you're part of nature. Matter of fact, in nature, the non-natural or the unnatural or the unnatural is something that kills you. Why would you partake in anything unnatural? Doesn't make sense. Like bad pastors? What, are you talking about the unnatural? Unnatural? No, I'm not. I'm not a Christian. I believe in the Bible. I believe in the Tanakh. I believe in Yeshua HaMashiach. I believe in Yahweh Elohim. I believe in Ruach HaKodesh. I believe in, obviously, more than just the 66 books. And I believe that the story of mankind is greater than what a lot of people know out of the Bible, because they simply misrepresent the culture. I'm sorry, in my own faith, which is in quotation marks, which everybody has faith. You have faith that if you go to work, you can get paid, right? But anyways, in your own faith, would you agree the book you're reading has been translated from a different language? Yeah, that's why I believe that you should go back to Paleo-Hebrew and read it in its original form. Like, for example, Amos 3:3, a lot of people love that verse, and people change stuff. So Amos 3:3, for example, just to show you, right, the adversity that you kind of got to go through to get past what others have taught you. Amos 3:3, people like to say, how can two people walk together except they be agreed? Problem with that is that's not what it said. It actually said something more along the lines of, how can two people walk together except they start in the same place? Another problematic thing. People like to go to what they would call Exodus. It's really Shemot, but we'll go by what people know it as because they speak a different language, as you say. So Exodus chapter 3, verses 14 and 15, where they'll say that God's name is I am that I am. Problem with that is that's not even what it says in English. It actually says I am that I am. In the next verse, it says, "So the Lord God is my name." That's what Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob knew me as, right? Not even mistranslation, just not even studying that well, right? Simple word usage, phraseology, etymology, pretty simple, right? But if you go to then the next, if you read it in the original form, what you'll discover is that it's not even his name is the Lord God, and he never said, "I am that I am." If you discover the word is Hayah, which he was saying, look. This is what it is. Like, you came here, you saw me in the burning bush, you saw that I'm a bush that's burning but it's never consumed. Why are you out here talking about all this stuff? Like, what do you need to even give them as far as name? Because name in Hebrew means authority. We got to get culture correct. However, he says, since you need a name so bad, right? Since you need something to make sure that because that's what they do, right? And he wasn't saying it just for Pharaoh. He was saying your people. So my people that I'm going back to send you about, since you think they need a name so bad for me, give them the name that's always been my name. Yahweh Elohim. That's what he says. He says that name should be a monument unto me, right? But we don't know that. We've not read that. We've not been taught that. We've learned what everybody else has. But when I go back further and further and further into the story of mankind, like I said, when I study Shangdi, and you study that the Chinese, before other culture was introduced to them, and therefore multiple gods and stuff was introduced to them, they only worshiped one God. This guy's name was Shangdi, and they believed in Noah. They believed in Shem. They believed in Ham. They believed in Yapet. Matter of fact, they have characters that believe, like, for example, for them, garden means man and west. Why? Because they believed that they were west of where the Garden of Eden was. They believe they were east of where the Garden of Eden was, so they believe they came over. Or in Chinese characters, they believe that family means 8 people. These are their characters they put together, right? In their pictographs. They believe that family means 8 people on a boat in water, right? So just doing some simple study shows that obviously the further back I go into the story of mankind, all of us kind of start going to the same place. So, when you talk about the book and translation, I would say you have to start looking at what has been changed by many different people over much time in many different situations to try and make sure that people worship them rather than worship the creator. And we got in a position to where we think creation is more important than the person that created it. You think the iPhone is more important than Steve Jobs, but without Steve Jobs, you don't have the iPhone. So who is more worthy of praise, your phone or the person who made it? And that's where we got to get to, right? But that's fighting through adversity. That's fighting through adversity. A lot of people have had an adverse effect. A verse, something's been spoken, right, written out, right, a verse. You listen to hip hop or whatever, and next thing you know, like, you waiting for the chorus and all that, but in between the chorus, right, there's a verse, right? So you like the chorus, and forgive me for this old school thing, but this is what I was listening to the other day. You all that I need, I'll be there for you. If you keep it real with me, I keep it real with you. You like that, your head's bumping, but before that, there's a verse. Right? Sure be man for you anytime you need me, right? Right? Nothing make a man feel better than a woman, right? Like, all this stuff is there to help you to get to the chorus, right? And people have had an adverse, people have changed. So we're all at the chorus part now talking about something, but we haven't discussed what changed in the verse, right? Are you getting the remix or you getting the original? You said it's confusing. No? In your opinion, the story of creation is still evolving and changing? It hasn't evolved or changed. People are trying their best to evolve or even come up with theories like evolution to keep changing things. I've never had to worry about evolving or changing it. I simply just look at the further back I go, the further back, the less human beings there were, the more oneness of language and thought and everything. The story was always the same. That same story seems to be continuing, but people keep trying to say, I'm going to change a piece of this and change a piece of this and change a piece of that. And I'm not going to go with the adversity. I'm not going to let adversity change me where somebody changes the verse, changes the topic of discussion, changes what the belief was. I'm going to go with the verse, what was written originally. I'm just that, but that's just me. I'm somebody that believes that the original is always greater than the copy. I'm just somebody that believes that the original is greater than the copy. That's why I'm glad that we're all originals. That way we can't say any of our copies are better than the other. None of us have the same exact DNA. None of us have the same exact blueprint. So I like originals. I like being an original. That way I don't have to worry about going with somebody's verse or what they think of me. Somebody says, oh, I don't like your hair, get it cut. I don't like the things that hang from your hair. So, okay, that's fine. It's not your hair. I'm an original. I'm doing this. This is what I do. And if you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't. Whether you like it or not, I love it. You know what I'm saying? So that's the adversity, right? Oh, hello, Romania in the house. Awesome. I think you might be the first one from Romania I've dealt with. Maybe, maybe not. But thank you for being on. We appreciate it. So that's, adversity to me. Adversity, it inspires me. Adversity, it pushes me. Adversity, it makes me say, well, if people are this much against what I'm speaking, is it because I'm just dead wrong and so I study? Or could it be that possibly maybe something I'm saying hits a vibe and hits something that is part of their belief? For us, I don't have my board out here with me. I usually have a whiteboard, but you have a culture affects beliefs, beliefs affect emotions, emotions affect feelings, feelings affect mood, mood affects your effort or energy, and your effort or energy is going to directly affect your habits. So usually if somebody gets very emotional about something because I'm hitting something, their habits are under attack, but really their belief structures under attack, which really is their culture is under attack, or at least the culture that they believe so much in. And usually for a lot of people nowadays, it's going to be Greco-Roman culture, very romantic. Right? People are very romantic. They wax poetically about things that are romantic. So what about fellowship? I don't know. What about fellowship? You're talking about as far as within, I'm trying to think of the context of what I was saying. As far as adversity, sure, fellowship helps us with adversity, coming together, I guess. If that's what you mean, yeah, I would definitely agree with that. That's why we always do what we do. We're about the Yas Land Project 83, things like that. You said I use words like the NOI does. Okay. So if, I don't know, if Richard Wagner waxes poetic or whatever, or if, I don't know who the people you are, if Ben Shapiro waxes poetic, if, I don't know, you sound like you might not like Ben Shapiro, I don't know. You could say whatever, people take a word and they're able to go on about a topic. But I'm not giving offshoots, and by the way, so what if I'm giving offshoots? You see this tree behind me? Right? It has offshoots, it has branches. It doesn't mean that I'm not talking about the tree. If I talk about the leaf, I'm still talking about the tree. If I talk about the seed, I'm talking about the tree. If I talk about the fruit, I'm talking about the tree. Right? So just because I have something that branches off doesn't mean that I've gotten away from what the point is. You want the singular point to remain here because you believe that this is all that there is. You said, I hope adversity is not a sign that you're right. Poor schizophrenics, and that's ad hominem. It was creative ad hominem. It's a branch off of ad hominem, but it's ad hominem. You can do better than that, and you haven't gotten that, right? I haven't given that towards you. Respect goes a long way. Adverse has a real definition. Yeah, like words, all words have definition. Problem with that is that just keep studying words and going back, right? Because adverse has had the definition change. Just like black has had the definition change. Just like white has had the definition change. Just like Bible has had the definition change. Bible just means a set of books. But people think that Bible means it's the Holy Bible. Bible just means a set of books, right? I can be honest about that. Holy doesn't mean what a lot of people think, where it's set apart and this and that, and it's a spiritual. Holy means to be whole. Put a W in front of the H. But if you change, definitions change every 25 minutes. No, you were creative. You were very creative, right? Or maybe you don't think about your words before you use them and how they actually go together. But yeah, you were creative with it though, but that's fine, right? At the end of the day though, I know that if I'm talking about a tree, right? Or if you're saying that I don't respect the schizophrenic or something like that, but I mean, there's only one or two ways that stuff is going. Or it's hard to be able to understand you. Maybe your essence and your wealth of knowledge and all the stuff, it just goes over my head because I can't read, but only so many characters you can type out. I get that too, right? So maybe you're just speaking over my head because you can't break it down for me. Well, what I would say is the tree, once again, just because I talk about one part of the tree doesn't mean that I can't talk about anything else. And I'm glad that I can go to offshoots, or else I wouldn't be able to answer your questions and stay on topic, right? So, adversity. Okay. En français, okay. So are you saying you were speaking something in French? That's what you were talking about? Did I miss that? Did I see schizophrenic and I just missed the word? Maybe you said something else and I apologize if that's what I did. Oh, okay. Okay, my bad. My fault. My fault. Yeah, I don't, le français, my French is terrible. Like, I'm very limited in French. I'm still a little baby in French. My wife, she's actually fluent. So maybe you could say it and she can catch it on here and she could translate for me what you're trying to say. My French is pretty weak. So I apologize for that language barrier piece as well. Um, but yeah, so and I apologize. We got a big truck that decided to pull up all of a sudden. I don't know what we're doing. Looks like they're getting ready to go somewhere else. So I apologize for the noise in the background for about a minute or so, probably. Our Father's grace and peace be to you, angelic discipline. Blessings to you. So, but these are the things that we're discussing. Adversity, right? Adverse effects, things like that, right? So when we're talking about adversity, right? Bonjour, je m'appelle Kofi. Ça va? I don't really know that much. But, thank you for being on with us. Yeah. Oh, femme. Yeah, I'm sorry. Femme. Now, I can't remember if I'm spelling it. Bonjour à ta femme. Is it, I can't remember if it's os or osse. I can't remember how to pronounce it. But yeah, so we are, we're developing, trying to get past adversity. And really, adverse situations come from, oh, okay. You are from Romania, is that? So we're trying to get into a situation where we are moving in the correct direction. And you got to be able to press past adversity. And a lot of people are not able to press past adversity. A lot of people are not designing certain things in their life that help them to press past. Once again, how do we press past this? Number one, do you have a culture that says that you can be greater? Right? Because a lot of people, I need you to comprehend. Do you have a culture that says you can be greater? At the end of the day, and all the stuff we're talking about, let's get to the meat and the potatoes now, right? Do you have a culture that says that you can become greater, right? If you have a culture that says you can become greater, then that means that you will achieve greater. Right? To find out if you're worth it, right? Do you have a culture about you? Do you have guidelines in your life? Do you have a set of standards? Do you have a family, so to speak? Do you have a community that is about you becoming greater all day, every day? Right? If that means I got to get in you about something, then I got to get in you about something, right? If that means that I have to speak sweet nothings in your ear, if it means I need to give you that massage, if it means that I say you better go out there and work hard, if it means that you're going to have to exercise, whatever the case might be, do you have an environment that says, we kind of travel all over the place, but do you have an environment that says what? That you can, in fact, what is it do you have an environment that says that you can, in fact, be in a position where you can be uplifted? Do you have an environment that says that you're greater than something else? This is why we deal in the eternal. Hello, shalom to the Shabbat shalom to everybody and the person who's from Virginia. Do you have a belief system that says you can be greater? A lot of people don't carry that belief system that says that they can be greater. A lot of people carry a belief system that says that they are limited, that they can't do but so much, that they can't be as great as they're supposed to be, that they can only be what their government says, that they can only be what their family says, that they can only be what their family members were. Hey, my family members didn't have money, so that means I can't have money. I shouldn't have money. We live like that. My family didn't invest. What's investing doing, right? People get to the end of the life, man, I didn't need anything, man, I'm good. And look, maybe they didn't, right? But maybe that's not you. You're not called to be an exact replica of your parents. Do you have a position that says I can be greater? I use this example quite a bit, so forgive me for those who've heard me say this. I'm going to say it again. I grew up in a society, and you go back to certain places where people used to hang out on corners. Like, it's actually been pretty gentrified in certain areas, even more so than what it was when I was growing up. But I go back to certain areas, and I used to hang on the corner there, and we used to do certain things, right? We used to sing sometimes on the corner. That's a very old school Boyz II Men type atmosphere, if y'all know about that, right? But you used to sing on the corner. Maybe you shoot dice. Maybe people were selling cigarettes. Maybe people were selling drugs. Maybe you were just there hanging out before or after school, whatever, right? You go back to those same places, and there are a lot of the brothers that were on those corners that are still there today, right? Great. See, didn't I tell y'all? I told y'all earlier in the week. See, it's no less than once a day somebody comes on with Ricky Williams just because I'm a black person that wears his hair naturally, that people are like Ricky Williams. I guess all black people look the same, right? But you're welcome if that's your way of saying hello to you. But A lot of people will come on and say, hey man, or they'll go back to those corners, and you go back to those corners, those same people are on the corner doing the same stuff, in the same position, right? Talking the same stuff. And they look really good on the corner, right? They look amazing on the corner, don't they? They look really good on the corner. They have the freshest kicks, right? The bottom of their shoes are even clean. I know some of them, they be cleaning the bottom of their shoes because they want you to think they're that fresh, right? So they'll be like, the bottom of my shoes are clean. They got the tag on the hat, right? Outfit seem like it costs $300, $400, $500, right? Then you say to them, okay, cool, man. How's everything with your family? Don't have no family. Don't know their children. You say, hey, man, everything good? I'm going to go over here to go out to eat later. Maybe you can come with us. They don't have no money to eat. You got to spend money to get them to eat. Yo, I'm about to do this for the community, blah, blah, blah. Like, you rolling? Like, we going to help some people out there. I would, but, I got to make this money real quick. And you found that they selling Lucy's, right? Stuck in the same position that they've been in since we were 12. Haven't moved, right? Reason is because adversity. They don't have anything that takes them out of adversity. Their whole thing is, hey, I'm good in this little box. I'm good on the corner. I'm good at the bus stop. I'm still singing the same songs we were singing. I haven't even changed my repertoire, right? You would think at least you get up on game, learn some new songs. No, I'm still stuck in 1990s R&B, right? I'm still stuck in Biggie and all that. And I'm not saying that's wrong. I'm just saying, like, haven't changed. Why? Because because they haven't learned, or they didn't think it was necessary to go past adversity. Now, the problem is, here's the whole thing. Adverse, changing the verse, changing the narrative, changing what's written. Here's the whole deal about all that stuff I just said. At the end of the day, you're actually in adversity when you won't go against adversity. Right? You said, huh? You're strong in your ability to remain adverse with these lives. Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. Right? So here's the deal. Once again, I'm going to say it again. If you grew up in a position, right, or if you are basically in a position where you will not fight against adversity, right, in that bubble, right, that's a great way of saying it. If you're still stuck in this adverse position where you're not growing, what's really going on is that you are actually in adversity. If you are afraid of adversity, you are in adversity. If you're afraid to get out of adversity, guess what? If you're afraid to get out of the adversity or go against it, it means that you are enclosed, right? Around you is nothing but adversity. Until you decide to go through it, right, you're going to have to stick to it. You're going to have to stick to the adversity. Right? If you won't go through the adversity, you're going to have to stick to the adversity, right? Don't be upset if adversity seems to follow you everywhere if you won't fight against it. Don't be upset if people if it makes you feel bad. Like, don't be upset if you're somebody who can't post something and take comments if you won't build up a tolerance to the comments. You're going to have to hear bad comments in order to build up a tolerance to the comments. Right? Don't be upset if you can't handle somebody screaming at you, right? Because you're going to have to build up a tolerance for it. Yeah, well, the youth, you're planting the seed. Don't worry about whether they're getting it. And maybe you might want to see about the effectiveness of what you're doing, but you're planting the seed. Don't worry about the seed. We were talking about this last night. The seed is what it is, right? You can't create the seed. The seed is already created. The seed comes free, right? But the cost of not planting the seed, or the cost of what the seed gives you, the seed, you can't even value what it is that is when you plant a seed, right? So you just keep planting that seed, right? The seed grows fruit forever and ever and ever until Yahshua comes back. So you don't worry about that part. You keep planting the seed, all right? At the end of the day, though, and as I get ready to take my leave so we can get ready for the live session and on the podcast, make sure that you comprehend what it is that we're talking about as far as this. Now the truck's coming back. Make sure that you comprehend what we're talking about as far as these things, right? That you are righteous, and that you must be in righteous or right legal standing, and that you have something to offer, and that until you can fight against adversity, you're stuck, right? I appreciate that, Betty. Like, until you understand that what you have, the world needs, you will not push past the adversity. And until you start to develop things in your life that will help you to press past it, right? You will not get past that adversity. And you might need coaching. That's why we give life coaching as well, and marital coaching, and all types of things outside of it, and the classes that we give, and getting up early, and eventually at some point probably even doing some prayer from time to time together and stuff like that. We got to have something that allows us to get past adversity. You got to have something to be able to hang on to. You got to have something that helps you to feel like community. All these things are necessary and vital. And if we will not push out of adversity, I promise you, you will be stuck in adversity. It's like the same thing. If you don't have a plan for your life, somebody else will. Right? If you don't have a plan to get out of your adversity, somebody has a plan to keep you in adversity. Or somebody might have a plan to help you with adversity, but the problem is they'll give you their plan for your life, and so you still will be dealing with adverse things because it's a verse somebody else wrote for you. It's not the verse that's for yourself. Right? So make sure that you're dealing with adversity correct. Make sure you're dealing with adversity the way it's supposed to be. Make sure that you're dealing with writing your own verse, or paying attention to the verse that was already written for you before the foundations of this world. That being said, I thank you all for being on with us. We appreciate the King and Queen in each and every one of you, even if you're not living inside that kingdom or queendom yet. Our prayer is not that you only are going to be hearers of this word, but be doers as well. We give all honor to the Most High Yahweh Elohim. Once again, I give all honor to him for my wife, the Honorable Maya, who lives a life that's able to be honored. Please follow her at Bloom and Flourish. Not the letter N, not A-N-D, excuse me, but the letter N. So not Bloom, A-N-D, Flourish, Bloom, the letter N, Flourish. Bloom and Flourish. You can follow her on TikTok, YouTube, and her website. And we're thankful and grateful for all of those things and for you following us. We're also going to take time out real quick just to remind you that October 1st is obviously here and gone. Hopefully you were able to bless some people in the community. I don't know if I'm going to show up with this or not because of the light situation. There we go. I had to change the angle. But we're going to be on October 1st. We hope that you went out yesterday and blessed somebody in your community. Those of you who want to be part of Yah's Land Project 83, where we're asking families to be able to give $83.34 a family for 12 months, so that we can go out in October 1st, 2022 of next year without touching any of the finances until then, be able to go out and purchase land, that we might be able to start building our own brand, our own people, our own future, our own environment, our own diaspora upon. And we're thankful and grateful for you all for helping us with that. We're going to get into also, forgive me, October 11th is when the classes are going to start. So if you're interested in the classes, October 11th, which is going to be 2 Mondays from now, we'll be starting our classes. Mondays are going to be on marriage. Tuesdays will be on monarchy. Wednesdays will be on sovereignty. Thursdays will be on natural medicine 1. Fridays will be on fibroid cyst. Saturdays will be on Hebrew characters. For more information, contact us, DM us, text us at the number, the information above. Those who are watching this later on YouTube, you can just look on the bottom of the screen to be able to see what's going on with this stuff in the description box below. But you can text us at any of this information, DM us here, do what you need to do, and we'll get back in contact with you about any of this stuff we're talking about. Don't forget, October 18th is when we're going to start every Monday, on Mondays only, 6:45 a.m. Eastern or New York time. I'll be on at 6:30 a.m. for those who want to come on early and fellowship a little bit and possibly do some prayer, whatever we're led to. But every Monday, starting October 18th at 6:45 a.m. Eastern and New York time, we will be on from 6:45 a.m. to 7:45 a.m. Eastern and New York time, 1 hour before we get into the live, strictly on Bible study. All right, that'll be on Zoom only. The classes will be on Zoom only, by the way, as well. October 30th, which will be the last Saturday of this month, we're going to have our Brothers in Black. And we're going to record that as well for those who might miss it. We're going to have 4 dynamic speakers. We're going to have our brother Angelic Discipline. We're going to have Elder Austin Oles. We're going to have Minister Maya on as well, and then we're going to have myself as the speakers. And we'll all have about 20-25 minutes or so. That'll start at 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern in New York time. And for those of you who want to join us, men and women, children, everybody are invited. Believers, non-believers are invited. We're asking that you just be respectful since it's going to be on Zoom. So just make sure that you're, ready to kind of respect the service type atmosphere. And yeah, I think that's it for that. That'll be October 30th at 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern in New York time. Men, we're asking that when you come, you dress in black for solidarity. Women, you can dress in whatever you like. You don't have to wear black, obviously, but we're just asking. So then October 31st, which is the last Sunday of this month, we'll do our special session, which with my wife and I, we'll have our son with us as well, and we're going to deal with Hallows Eve, Halloween, some of the things that are believed about it, some of the things that are need to be discussed. How does it affect our children? Where does it come from? All that great stuff. And I'm looking at possibly, I got to talk it over with my wife. Instead of it being 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern or New York time like it normally is, we might move it up maybe 30 minutes or an hour, just so we can make sure that children can be involved. If they have, school on the rising or something like that, we want everybody to be involved as a family. Let's have a family conversation with that. And that will not be on Zoom. That will be on live session as we normally have it. November, we're working on the marriage contracts for everybody, and then in December, we're going to have our Women in Red conference, where we're going to have the Women in Red. My wife's putting that together. We'll have more information for you soon. That's going to be December 16th, I believe, at 6 o'clock p.m. December 18th, December 16th, whatever Saturday is close to what I'm saying right there. That'll be on. Men are invited to that as well. Ladies, we're asking for you to come. Everybody invite somebody out to that. Bring your children as well. And we're asking that when you come out to that you, ladies, wear your red in solidarity. Amen. So we're thankful, we're grateful for everyone to be on. Don't forget, also, too, we're looking for people, if you're interested in getting baptized in the name of Abba, of Yahweh, of Abba, or of Yahweh, Yashvai, Ruach HaKodesh. We're looking at doing those in different locations very soon. Well, when I say very soon, it'll be staggered. Some in Southeast America first, Northeast United States of America, the northern, central United States of America, and then south, towards Oklahoma, Texas. So we're looking at doing those things soon. So if you're interested, let us know in advance. Thank you to those people who gave yesterday to start us off with Yah's Land Project. We're already doing very well, and I'm going to try and make sure today that we have it posted, and we're going to try to update very often the amount of stuff that's in there. Each of you will be sent at some point a number. Probably today, hopefully, that'll say this is what number you are. So when you see on the list, right, if people want to know and track what we're doing, you can see that this number person has given this much, right, at these times or whatever, so people can hang on to what's happening without them knowing exactly your name, your information, etc. We want this to be something that we come together, but obviously people don't need to be in your pockets, right? So look for that coming out as well, though. But I'm already over time. Minister Tamara is going to be blessing us with a word at 9:15 a.m. Eastern New York time on the Kofi of 40 podcast. It's the Kofi of 40 podcast. If you don't have Podbean, Podbean, if you don't have the Podbean app, you can't join us live. However, you can always look up the Kofi of 40 podcast and listen at any time later on. So we're grateful, we're thankful for this opportunity, and we look forward to being able to be with you all later on. Remember, you can find us anywhere. #FindKofi, #FINDKOFI. And also, that's the name of our YouTube channel, if you'd like to be able to look for that. We're thankful and grateful for those who want to go to the website and be able to check out what we're doing so you can see firsthand. And at any time, you can always just go and text our number above my head, 202-599-7312. Also, too, you can reach out to my wife, 410-469-1553. Again, 410-469-1553. Again, I say 410-469-1553. Last time, that's 410-469-1553. As always, it's been Pastor Kofi, aka the Shadow Ben One, Pastor Servant to Christ, where we're always changing lives one mind at a time by being a voice to the voiceless and speaking the unspoken, until I have the great privilege, opportunity, and responsibility of being in front of you all again. Please remember, as always, that you are loved, you are necessary, you are majestic, you are fearfully, wonderfully made, and you, which is all of us working together, we shall be the reason this world changes for the better, bare minimum. We'll be the reason why people who are in this system no longer have to be of it. Shabbat shalom, fam. See you soon.